From your local election headquarters, this is Big Country Politics on KTAB.
All right, welcome back to Big Country Politics. We are continuing our conversation with Doug Peters, President and CEO of the Abilene Chamber of Commerce. We've covered a lot in our first segment. I want to talk about what we ended with in our last segment.
Sure.
This Chairman's Showcase.
Yeah.
And it's where you guys are going to set up where at again?
In the lobby of the convention center.
Of the convention center.
That's right.
Downtown.
Right.
And you're just going to allow people to come in and find out what being a part of the chamber is all about.
We have because we do so much, Victor, we have a hard time connecting all those dots for people. And when they can come in and physically see it and talk to the people who lead it and the people who drive it behind the scenes, in many cases, volunteers, we have 2,500 people who are active business leaders in the community who drive the work that we do. The staff just sort of coordinates the effort and provides the professional expertise where needed. But 65,000 hours invested by people to help advance the economy in this great city. So we want to invite people in, let them see what we do, why we do it, and then most importantly, why it matters to them, so that if they want to engage, they can, but they also can learn how the investment that they're making in the chamber is working for them and working for this great city.
Well, and I guess my biggest question when it comes to this is, take the business, same type of business, whatever it is, the two businesses, the one that is a member of the chamber, the one that is not.
Right.
What's the difference there? What am I asking the right question? Am I saying, I mean, is the one that is not a member gonna, what about those people who just don't know much about the chamber?
Well, it's incumbent on us to make sure everybody knows. That's
Okay.
part of what this Chairman's Showcase is about, is helping the community know what happens. A lot of times, here's a great way to explain it.
Okay, good.
And I explained it this way to a school classroom one time, and they all said, "Oh."
That's what I'm looking for, that oh moment.
We do all those things in this city that most people think just happens. They know what the city does. They provide police, fire, utilities, all those kinds of things. But who's bringing in the visitors from outside? Who's making sure that there's a quality of life element driven by the arts? Who's making sure that Dyess Air Force Base and its mission are thriving and the families are well cared for? Who's doing all that? Well, there is an organization. It's been around for 112 years.
Wow.
It's called the Abilene Chamber of Commerce. Some people know the story, some people don't. Many people make the story happen. So on that special night that we're going to have at the convention center, we're inviting our membership to come in. We did this about 4 or 5 years ago. I had been here for 2 weeks. We had just brought aboard.
Wait a minute, have you already been here that long?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I know.
Go ahead, I interrupted you.
And we had just recruited 525 new companies to be a part of this effort called the Chamber of Commerce. And it was an unforgettable night. The place was packed. It was shoulder to shoulder. People learned a lot. Our chairman met his future wife, which is why we're calling it the Chairman's Showcase. You never know what could happen there. But it bears repeating, because there is an important story to tell there. There is a lot of work that is undertaken by tons of people in this great city, including leadership from our city, from our county, from Dyess, all of us working together, the Development Corporation of Abilene. Everybody pulling on the same end of that rope really helps us to advance this community. I said something a long time ago that people sort of latched onto, and that is, this city won't be good enough for any of us until it's good enough for all of us. And we're working hard with foundations and the business community, the city, our residents / taxpayers. Everybody has a role to play. And we try to not only cheerlead this city. So if you hear cheering, it's likely coming from the people who are deep investors, the business community. But at the same time, we want people to know that there's a lot to celebrate in our city, and by golly, we're going to celebrate it.
And all these things that you are doing obviously brings people to town, and then that's all good for all the businesses.
Absolutely.
Because they spend money here.
That's right.
And on the same token, you guys are working with Taylor County. You mentioned the Development Corporation of Abilene. For those people who don't know what that is, half-cent sales tax.
That's right. 4A Sales Tax Corporation.
Yeah, and then they lure business to Abilene in exchange for jobs, I guess.
That's right.
And so you guys work with them a lot.
Very closely. We have the Abilene Industrial Foundation, or the AIF, which is the private representatives of this public-private partnership. The DCOA brings the public side, we bring the private side, and if you were to ask me my true thought on that subject, our competitive advantage, aside from location, aside from low taxes, aside from low cost of living, is the fact that we have a public-private partnership. And if Victor is looking to locate his business in a community, we can assemble all the horsepower needed to make the decisions that impact your business in one meeting at one table and make it seamless for you. We have a city that is unbelievably pro-business, that really looks for every way they can to say yes. And when you streamline or kind of grease the skids for businesses to be successful, people want to be a part of that. So we all work collectively together. It's really uncanny how well we work together. But it's a real privilege for me to represent a small part of that partnership, which is the private sector. We've been doing that for a long time.
Well, and they're wrapping us up here. We got a lot more to get to, so we're going to have you back on the show.
I'd love to come back.
Mr. Peters, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back on Big Country Politics.